It's 6:30, time to start our meeting. First, I want to excuse Brett Hales. He's out of town. Secondly, opening ceremonies, I'll ask Jim Brass to do the Pledge of Allegiance, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I looked down, couldn't see you. I thought you left.
Evening, if you'd all rise and repeat the pledge with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Next order of business, approval of the minutes for council meeting of February 18, 2020.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, the next item of business is citizen comment. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Step to the microphone, state your name, city, and residence, and Jan has a form for you to fill out. You can either fill it out before or after. Is there anybody that wants to speak at citizens' comments? Come on up.
My name is Davis Hansen. I live at 736 Labrum Avenue, and I am here to ask for your help. So about a year and a half ago, the building on Winchester and 725 East, the Advocates building, was completed, and for about 6 months, everything was fine. But recently, within the last 6 months, there have been more and more cars parking on residential streets. That building is zoned. It is in the RNB zoning, the residential neighborhood business, and it is our understanding that the purpose of that is to protect the neighborhoods and to be a buffer between a commercial zoning and a neighborhood. But the problem is that it's not that way. We've been keeping track. There have been anywhere between 9 and 14 cars parked not only on 725 East, but they have now also started parking on Labrum Avenue, which is our street. They are parking anywhere between 2 and 3 houses deep on Labrum Avenue. Many times directly in front of our house and on the other side of the street. The problem with this is obvious, but the biggest concern that we have is this is a huge, it's a safety concern. We have many families on that street, and they play outside all the time. And so we are asking for your, we have tried talking to the owner of the building, and all we were met with was basically contempt, and we actually were threatened to be sued if we didn't stop bothering them about the situation. So since we can't work things out with them, we are asking for the city's help to find a resolution to this issue, whether it is making them buy additional parking, forcing them to act. Here's the other problem is there's plenty of parking stalls, but they're saving parking stalls for certain businesses. And so if it's not that business, they park out on the street. And so there's parking in there that they can park on, but they're not actually parking there. So whether it's some sort of enforcement or a sign on our street that says residential only parking, something like that would be greatly appreciated so that we can not have this issue anymore. It's getting worse, and he doesn't want to do anything. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll have somebody look into that.
Hi, my name is Dan Peterson, and I own a piece of property on a commercial piece of property on State Street. Currently not in Murray city boundaries, but adjoining on both the north and the south. Actually, the north, the south, and the east side of my property is Murray City. I've been there for 16 years. I've owned the property for the past 6. And it's a car dealership, a small used car dealership. Actually, it's 2 car dealerships. I operate off of a small side and lease the other side out. When I bought the property, it was brought to my attention that there was no running water to the property, that essentially our water was coming through another piece of property under the ground and into our property. And so I'm trying to resolve that problem. And so we've contacted a contractor. We've contacted Murray City Public Works. We've been going through the process of trying to connect to Murray City Water. We're currently in Jordan Valley's district. Jordan Valley doesn't have water near the property, and they've given us a letter saying we can't give you water. Murray's water is about 100 feet away, their main, and so we've been going down this process, and it's been going okay, but it's a kind of a long process, and as we've gone down this process, it's been brought to our attention that in order for Murray to allow us to connect to Murray Water, they want to annex us into Murray, which I'm fine with. Actually, 16 years ago when I got a business license, the dealer before me was licensed in Murray, and so I came down and received a Murray business license, only to find out 2 weeks later that they said, oh no, you can't have them, you're not in Murray. You had applied for annexation years ago, long before I owned the property, but that process had been stopped. And so currently we're in Mill Creek. So anyhow, long story short, Murray City, we've been told that Murray City Public Works is upgrading the water, the main that we would want to connect to right away, apparently in the next couple of weeks. So I'm just here to let you know that we're applying, and I'm hoping that we can do it, we can achieve this annexation as fast as possible, so that while they have the sidewalk dug up to upgrade the main that we would connect to, then we could connect at the same time instead of having to dig it up again, if the process takes too long. So thanks for your time, and if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Did you fill out a form?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And I think lots of people here are aware of our situation. I'm just here begging.
Okay.
Thank
you very much. Anybody else?
I'm Laila, and I live in 5598 South, Fairhaven Circle. And so, I thought I was going to speak at the end of the meeting, but anyways, I'm going to try to put this in more precise way. And the reason I'm here is because I have seen that before they increase our taxes, they started building a lot of buildings everywhere. I mean, especially since I live east from the river, lots of buildings are coming up, and I'm very concerned about the wild animals that live there and the destruction that's causing to them, and that we are crunching them. And not allowing them to have enough food, and we are killing them. And I'm very concerned about that. I see not just the birds and the ducks, but also the fish, because all these houses that were built on the west side from, I think, Winchester, they're right there by the river, and now the ducks don't have, or the geese don't have, and ducks don't have areas where they can put their nests and be safe, because all these people are going to be coming there and scaring them and injuring them. And so I contacted Diane Turner, who is my council district person, and I put a letter a little bit better than I'm saying right now, so sorry, so it's not like that. But that's one of my concerns. Another concern is that the river is getting a lot of algae blooms, and this is a lot related to all these fertilizers that we are putting in, not just in people's lawns. I don't put anything because I'm against that. But a lot of people in their houses, and now these new houses are putting all these fertilizers. They are getting all in the river. We are killing the fish, and that food is killing the animals that live there. I think we need to protect and work in protecting all these animals, which all this the trees and the birds and all of that, it's good for our health. I am a mental health nurse, and I already know that part of the therapy that we are considering now is that for people to be able to have green spaces. And I think we should consider to keep up our, not just the river corridor, but plan to a lot of areas that now they're building to make them to be more environmentally friendly and to be more agreeable to keep some of those old trees rather than destroy them and putting. I mean, it's nice to put new trees, but it's also very nice to keep the old ones in there. So anyway, she also just suggested for me to get into the zoning, which I'm going to try to get in there. But this is my big concern. Anyways, so where is that my clock? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll close the citizen comment. Move on to consent agenda. Consider confirmation of the mayor's appointment of Ray Beck to the Murray City Center District Design Review Committee to complete the remainder of a term to expire January 1st, 2021. Mayor Camp.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to present Ray Beck for the Design Review Committee. Ray, as you probably saw on his bio, has a lot of experience, legal experience in land use and real estate development, and something that will be a real asset to the Design Review Committee. Ray also, I don't know how many years ago it's been, Ray, but served on our Planning Commission for 2 terms. So it's been a long time, but he does have experience on the Planning Commission too, and so we're thankful that grateful that Ray is able and willing to serve, and so we ask for your confirmation on that appointment this evening. And Ray is here if you'd like to stand and wave or give a speech, or no, we can't afford him.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Any questions?
Do you
I'll take
want
a
a
motion.
All right, I'll move confirmation of the mayor's appointment of Ray Beck to the Murray City Center District Design Review Committee to complete the remainder of a term to expire January 1st, 2021.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, we have one public hearing. We'll close the consent agenda, move to the public hearing. It's consider an ordinance related to land use amendments in the zoning map for the property located at 61 East, 6100 South, Murray City, Utah, from the R18 Low Density Residential to the CD Commercial Development Zone District. Melinda.
Good evening. Thank you. The property we're speaking about, as you mentioned, is at 61 East, 6100 South. The application is for a zone map amendment. The request is to go from R18 low density residential to CD, which is the commercial development zone. This next slide will show an aerial of the property, which is outlined in red. To the north there, we have Planet Fitness. To the southeast there, you see Fashion Place Mall. To give you just a little context of where this is at. The current zoning map shows that the surrounding properties, with the exception of the 3 there, are already zoned commercial. The future land use map shows that those 3 properties are slated to become commercial. So here are just a few pictures of the property. You probably are all familiar with the former cotton shop. And this is the property directly west of that. So the 3 pictures on the left side here just show the property looking from the south, looking north, and then looking at the northeast. And the property is, or the uses that would be allowed in the commercial zone is parking, and that's what the intended use for this project or this parcel would be. So this was heard by the Planning Commission on the January 2nd meeting. They did not receive any public comments on this zone change request, and the Planning Commission voted unanimously, I think it was 4-0, to send a positive recommendation to the City Council. So staff recommendation, as well as the city or the Planning Commission's recommendation, is to approve the requested zone amendment for the property at 61 East, 6100 South from R18 single family low density residential to CD general commercial. BJ Stringham, the applicant, is here this evening. He indicated to me he didn't really have much to add to the presentation, but he is here if you have any questions for him.
Is there any questions?
No, I think it was presented well in the committee of the whole, and I appreciate that Main Street continues to provide a buffer for that residential area. It's great.
Okay, we'll thank you, Melinda. We'll open it up for citizens' comments for the public hearing. Anybody here want to speak on this?
Yeah. Why can we consider it to be a better zone?
Please come up to the microphone.
Yeah, why can't we consider that area to be, rather than for destroying it, more to consider to put something green, so it's better for everybody? Like a park with no fertilizers, but be natural developing, rather than putting more buildings where we increase congestion and more bad air and overuse of natural resources that we are all sharing and overusing. I mean, that's one of the things I'm bringing up. I mean, why don't we start consider to do something that's better for not just me and my interest, but everybody else's? And I know that's not closest to the river, but even like that, I think if we put a park that is beautiful in there, it's going to help everybody feel better about it than if we put more buildings in there. So that's my comment.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does she have to fill out another one, Jan?
No, if I get them first.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
So I'm not done yet. So what else do we need to do to proceed with this, that were some people opposed about putting more buildings? Because I don't know where, I'm serious, I don't know where to go from here. You know, where it's like, oh, I am citizen, I am against the thing, we're putting more buildings in that area. I think we need to stop all this tons of buildings and start putting trees and things like that are better for the city.
Well, I appreciate your input. We'll take that in consideration. Probably the best place to do that is in the zoning commission when they're discussing it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the council. Any comments or questions? All right, I'll look for a motion.
I'll move we don't consider the ordinance. I move we approve the ordinance to the zoning. I'm having a hard time finding my spot. Dale, help me out. You're leading this sucker. Where do we start?
Look at the slide.
Right here. Do I read the whole thing? Sorry, that's what I was lost in the words. Do I read the whole thing, Dale?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I move we consider an ordinance relating to land use, amend the zoning map for the property located at 61 East, 6100 South, Murray City, Utah, from the R18 low density residential to the CD commercial development zoning district. I apologize.
You're fine. We have a motion to approve the ordinance. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second.
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, we'll close the public hearing. We'll move on to business items. Consider a resolution approving the donation in-kind services to the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority 2020 Lights Up Navajo Initiative Project. Blaine Hackey.
Hi, Blaine Hackey, General Manager of the Power Department. In front of you is a resolution that we would like to have you pass today. We've talked about it in the Committee of the Whole meeting earlier today. We want to send 5 linemen to help with the Light Up Navajo project, which is basically building power lines to homes and hogans that are out in the middle of the Navajo reservation. We participated in this past year. We sent 5 people there last April, and it was very rewarding for our people to go there. Humbling. They were glad to do service. Our cost would be an in-kind donation, which would be the labor for our people. The first group would leave on April 18th. 5 of our employees would go. They will work there for 7 days, building power lines and building service to the homes. There are over 15,000 homes in the Navajo area that do not have power yet and never have had power. And this is a project that most of the nation, a lot of the nation and a lot of organizations from back east have also sent crews to. And we're just fortunate enough that it's right in our backyard. There are several other Utah cities that are participating. We will share the opportunity with St. George on the second week that we send people. We're going to send 2 linemen on May 29th to work for 7 days with 3 people from St. George Power. And so we intend to send 7 people at a cost of about $30,000. You can see the details in your packet. It's an in-kind donation. Let me give you the names of the people that will go, just for your FYI. The first 5, Victor Meza, Eric Bracewell, Brandon Hoover, Tyler Kirkham, and Justin Larson will go. 4 of those went last year, and they want to go back. And the second group is Victor Meza and Tyler Kirkham. The same, they're going twice. So this will be their 3rd week down there. Anyway, we would recommend that we pass this resolution. We're excited to do it and feel like it's giving back to the community, rather giving back to the region as well.
Any questions for Blaine?
I just wanted to congratulate you again and put it on the record. Being with the Navajo Nation this weekend and the leaders of the nation, they were very grateful and they were inspired by what was going on, and again, that they didn't know Murray was participating in this. So they just wanted me to extend the congratulations and really just appreciate that you guys go out and do this for them and their communities, and they know the importance behind it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Our guys saw popsicles in the freezer for the first time last year. It was pretty fun for them.
Thank you.
I just want to also comment, I think it's a wonderful thing that you're doing, and I really appreciate that your staff is willing to do that and that you're supportive, because I know we are. So anyway, thanks again, Blaine.
It seems like a small donation.
Thank you for your leadership on it.
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to also express that in speaking with them, we've discussed, I do want to go down at this time. I don't know when it's the best time or where exactly, but I know we can talk about that further in the future. So thank you again.
Come back with red sand in your toes.
Oh, I'm ready. Thank you.
Okay, with that, I'll look for a motion.
Do you want to do the motion? Oh, okay. I will make a motion to consider a resolution approving the donation of in-kind services to the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority 2020 Light Up Navajo Initiative Project.
Okay.
Motion to adopt. I apologize.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a second. Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Blaine.
Thank you.
And thank your guys.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2, consider a resolution approving the interlocal agreement among Bluffdale City, Draper City, Murray City, South Jordan City, South Salt Lake City, West Jordan City, Sandy City, and West Valley City regarding the interlocal entity known as the Metro Fire Agency. Doug Hill.
Thank you. The interlocal agreement before you tonight is a continuation, if you will, of the Metro Fire Agency, which has been in existence for approximately 14 years. The purpose of this agreement, and I'll read this right out of the agreement itself, the purpose of the agreement is to promote the health, safety, and welfare, to provide improved fire protection for the participating cities, and to provide immediate, unified, and cooperative action to guard against potential multiple threats to individual cities. So we're asking that you approve this agreement, and it will continue the operation of the Metro Fire Agency with the other cities that Council Member Cox just read.
Any questions for Doug?
No, you gave us a really thorough explanation in the committee of the whole, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll look for a motion.
All right, I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution approving an interlocal agreement among Bluffdale City, Draper City, Murray City, South Jordan City, South Salt Lake City, West Jordan City, Sandy City, and West Valley City regarding an interlocal entity known as the Metro Fire Agency.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, next we have consider a resolution honoring the 100th anniversary of the League of Women Voters. Diane Turner presenting.
Do you want me to go down there to do it? Or
Do
can
it there, whatever you want.
Okay, great. Then I'll do it here. I am so honored to present this resolution, and I'll present the resolution and then we will have a vote. This resolution is honoring the 100th anniversary of the League of Women Voters. Whereas the history of women voting in Utah is long and vibrant, and whereas on February 14th, 1870, Utah school teacher Sarah Young voted in a municipal election under equal suffrage laws and is credited with being the first woman to vote in an election in any state or territory now part of the United States of America. And whereas the United States Congress passed the 19th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States on June 4th, 1920, guaranteeing American women the right to vote, which was ratified on August 18th, 1920, and whereas Carrie Chapman Catt, a suffragist and founder of the League of Women Voters, led the state-by-state strategy that resulted in its passage, and whereas Carrie Chapman Catt spoke at the Conference of Women Voters held in the Salt Lake Tabernacle on November 17th, 1919, and whereas the conference was sponsored by the Utah State Suffrage Council, then presided over by Utah feminists Emmeline B. Wells, Emily S. Richards, and others, and whereas The League of Women Voters is a civic group originally formed to help women take a larger role in public affairs after they won the right to vote. And whereas the League of Women Voters has grown to include all citizens, encouraging informed and active participation in government, working to increase understanding of major public policy issues, and influencing public policy through education and advocacy. And whereas the League of Women Voters is proud to be nonpartisan, neither supporting nor opposing candidates or political parties at any level of government, but always working on vital issues of concern to members and the public. And whereas the League of Women Voters was formed 100 years ago on February 14th, 1920. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Murray City Municipal Council as follows. It hereby recognizes the League of Women Voters as an important civic organization working for the welfare of all Utahns, and it hereby recognizes the long history of civic engagement by the organization and its intent to pursue this work for the next 100 years.
Thank you, Diane. Any questions?
No?
No.
All right, I'll look for a motion.
It would be my honor to move to adopt a resolution honoring the 100th anniversary of the League of Women Voters.
I would like to second that.
I have a motion and a second. Jennifer?
Aye.
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 You know, in a past life, I worked closely with the League of Women Voters, and I've always been impressed. You're bipartisan, you work hard on issues, and I've always been impressed, so it's an honor to say yes.
Now I'm going to take your picture.
Also, we have a group from the League of Women Voters, and I would love it if you would just stand and we can.
I'm taking it. I swiped and then it went somewhere weird, and I don't want to read the news. I want to take a picture. Okay, I got it.
Thank you so much. Whenever I needed to know where I should go to vote, I always called you guys. So I really appreciate your being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next presentation of a legislative report, Rosalba Dominguez.
Well, thank you so much. So I'm one of 3 representatives for the Utah League Cities and Townships for the Legislative Policy Committee with the state of Utah. I'm just going to kind of give a quick overview of what we've been working on. At every meeting, we are reminded that LPC legislative prism for evaluating legislation, and those prisms are: does the bill respect the traditional role of local government? Is the bill a one-size-fits-all approach, or does it respect that every city is unique? Will the bill result in an unfunded and unworkable mandate on cities? So the keys are to respect collaborations and outcomes. With that in mind, the following bills, these are things that we've been working on during the legislative session and that we've taken a stand on or not. And with that in mind, if you want to know who your representative is, we would be more than happy to let you know as well. And it's on our website at murraycity.com as well. So let me move forward. HB 273. This bill concerns a dispute between a property owner and land use regulator. The property rights ombudsman may be asked to act as a neutral third party to try to negotiate a solution between the parties. If the suggestions are not resolved and the parties the parties proceed to litigation and the court agrees with property rights ombudsman advisory opinion, the prevailing party may collect reasonable attorney fees and compensatory I know the word, but it didn't come out of my mouth. Compensatory damages. Third substitute is being negotiated by the ULCT to change the scope of damages, previously $1,000 per day to $250 per day, delete the reference to the pro as evidence, clarifying timing, when the clock starts on the daily damages, definition of who can earn the penalty, property owner or other third parties. An important discussion relates to whether the objections were intentional, knowingly committed. LPC voted to remain neutral and held the line on the progress made with additional negotiations necessary to protect municipalities and the remaining points. This bill has been ongoing throughout the whole legislative session and will continue to go on with us being neutral to it. The following bill is HB 37, Local Government Building Regulation. This bill applies to a construction applicant whose building inspection has taken longer than the required time frame. The applicant may opt out of the inspection. Applies only to non-residential projects. ULCT has been opposed to the bill, and the current substitute allows for a study during the interim with the report back on October 2020. Back by October 2020. HB 298, Victim Guidelines for Prosecutors. First substitute allows a certifying official to certify victim helpfulness in that person was a victim of a qualifying criminal activity and has been helpful in the detection, investigation, or prosecution of the criminal activity regardless of immigration status. That bill actually went out, it got passed by the Senate today is what I got updated on. And that's been an ongoing one with amendments. HB 271, Firearm Preemption Amendments. ULCT opposes based on government immunity concerns and damages and preemption of local authority. Next bill, SB 214, Fringe Gambling Machines. This bill modifies the crime of gambling, prohibits placing a fringe gaming machine into operation, and authorizes a municipality to seize gaming debts, proceeds, and devices. HB 394, Homeless and Transitional Housing Program. This bill creates a Homeless Services Director and modifies the reporting of the Homeless Coordinating Committee to the Director rather than the Governor. Also, it modifies the uses of and oversights of the Pamela Atkinson Homeless Account. ULCT opposes this bill. SB 210, Police Body Camera Amendments. This bill amends the list of circumstances in which an officer may deactivate a body-worn camera, requires a police officer to document reasons why the officer failed to comply with requirements related to body-worn cameras. It allows a judge to dismiss a case where no grounds exist for criminal trial if an officer failed to comply with requirements, and the judge may provide adverse interference instruction to a jury if evidence that an officer intentionally or recklessly failed to comply with the requirement. Recommended for support by the ULCT. HB 283, Outdoor Adventure Commission Amendments. This bill creates an Outdoor Adventure Commission to develop a strategic plan aimed at meeting to the future needs of outdoor recreation within the state to enhance the quality of life for Utah residents. The bill addresses a need and impacts of outdoor recreation, sustainable economy, and economic development incentives, impacts the environment, wildlife, and natural resources to preserve the natural beauty of the state. ULCT will have two representatives on the commission, past the House and in the Senate. ULCT also supports this bill. SR6, concurrent resolution for study of local option sales tax. This resolution requests that the Utah Association of Counties and the ULCT provide the legislature with information regarding the impact of e-commerce and the point of sale associated with the various local option sales and use tax rates, and possible changes to the distribution formulas. Requests that the UAC and ULCT work with transit districts to research and make recommendations regarding the impact of changing point of sale due to the nature of internet sales and changes in the traditional delivery option. The sponsor, Senator Bramble, is not advocating for any changes, but wants local governments to understand how the changing economy impacts sales revenues. This is an issue that Murray should be involved in. Murray City depends immensely on sales tax revenues to balance the budget. And I'm going to give a quick example. So the general fund revenue without transfers is about $45 million. Sales tax, local option transportation is about 48%, which is about $22 million. Property tax, we receive about $9 million. Other taxes, fees, licenses, permits, intergovernmental charges for services, fines, and other miscellaneous costs as well. So that's my update. It's really been insightful to be up at the Capitol every Monday and to kind of get and really just learn about what's going on and advocate for ULCT and the city as well. So it's been a pleasure, and we'll give a follow-up update as well at the end of the session.
Thank you. Any questions?
I'll make sure you guys get this as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mayor's report.
Okay, thank you. Earlier this evening, we had the pleasure of being presented with the Parks Master Plan, the draft presentation. So I thought it would be good along the to mention a few other things that have to do with the park. First of all, we've talked a lot about the replacement of the pavilions and the destruction of the pavilions, but I'd like to note that Pavilion 4 will be under construction starting this week. So we're seeing progress. We are on time and on budget for the pavilion replacement. Pavilion 4 is the pavilion that is accessed off of Vine Street, about 400 East. So that's exciting news. Also, you might notice that the playground down at Germania Park has been removed or is being removed, and that will be it'll make way for a better and brighter playground that has been ordered and will be installed in the spring. And spring is coming, and the reason I know that, one of the signs is that the Parks Department is also looking for seasonal workers. So if you know anyone who is looking for, a student or someone who's looking for summer job, it's a great way to earn a paycheck through the summer months. So we depend a lot on our seasonal employees to run our parks. Also, I wanted to mention that it is 2020 and the census is underway. The library is working on two computers that will be dedicated, 2 rooms with computers that will be dedicated for the census. And that they hope to have that up and running by March 28th, and they'll be available through April for the public to go in that don't have access to computers. And they can go in. It'll already be set up for them to get on to the census. So that's a great service that our library will be providing. Because we all know how important it is for the census to be accurate, and so we want everyone to be counted. Finally, I just wanted to briefly mention the COVID-19 or the coronavirus. I just want to emphasize to the public, especially, that we don't want panic. We shouldn't be panicked. Risk is still low for the coronavirus in our area, but we do urge caution and preparation. And there are a lot of ways to be prepared. And there's on our website, on the homepage, we provided a link to the CDC. They have updated information on the coronavirus, and encourage you to visit that. And also the Salt Lake County Health Department has information on the coronavirus, and that they keep updated too. So just, again, we don't want panic, but we do want preparation. And we have instructed all of our department heads to survey their departments and make a plan for if it happens that we need to implement a plan because of the spread of the virus, that will be prepared. We'll identify people who can work from home, or non-essential people that can be that can work from home, or that can be isolated from the public. So I just wanted to mention that. So other than that, things are well. So do you have any questions?
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions for the mayor? Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thanks. With that, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.